Modified Desert Classics. We get the old D200 cleaned up. Let's get to work. So today we're going to address the paint on this old truck here. As you can see, it's pretty chalky, pretty faded. But there's little spots, like here. This is where I sprayed some PB on this vent window here just to get things moving a little more freely. What you can see under that chalkiness is actually some pretty decent paint. So I did come down on this fender here last night and just put a little light compound on it by hand, and the difference is pretty incredible, actually. So a few other things I did off camera last night just to get us ready for today was pull those West Coast style mirrors off, just because they were in the way and they were only held on by a handful of screws and were getting ready to fall off anyway. I pulled the grill just to make it a little easier to polish around the edges of the fenders and on this panel here. The grill itself needs quite a bit of work. We might try to save it, or I may try to find another one. I'm not really sure yet. But I also took the brackets for the bumper off of these frame rails. This one here is folded up pretty good, so we're going to have to address that at some point. We're also going to do the interior. I pulled the door cards off. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty dirty. And all underneath this seat. Let me show you guys. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of junk under there. Mouse turds, garbage, pieces of foam, all that good stuff. So we're going to work on getting this looking a lot better. But first, we're going to address this engine bay a little bit. So we got a lot of mouse droppings under here. Bits of plant material and dirt and dust, and honestly, it's about time that we do something about all that. So we'll take care of that. And if we have time, I've got a new set of plug wires and a new distributor cap that need to go on. So we'll see if we can get that done today as well. And a couple other little quick things I was doing last night was got the starter relay down on the fender well where it needs to be. And started getting that old chewed piece of wire ready to go for the new sender. But I'm honestly really excited to see the transformation that this truck is going to go through today. it's just nice to have the motivation with something looks good. I feel like it gives you more inspiration to continue working on it. Let's see what we can do. So we got the top of this intake pretty well vacuumed up. And it's funny, you couldn't even really see this. This was just so full of crap. And now it isn't. So, unfortunately, it looks like there's some rust and everything caused by, again, what I think is probably just mouse urine, but nothing too terrible. We'll get this engine soaked down with degreaser and hose it down, and should look even better. Alright, so we power washed the engine here. Had about 3/4 of a can left of degreaser. So probably could have came out a little bit better, but I'm pretty happy. I'm surprised actually how much blue is left on the intake. It looked a lot worse before I washed it. But all in all, I think it came out pretty good. Certainly a lot cleaner. And that's really what the goal was to just get all that nastiness out. So I think we succeeded on that. Now on to the body. So I'm going to try using the SOS method of cleaning here. I've seen a lot of other guys on YouTube have success using these things. So we're going to start from the top down, and we'll see if we can get rid of this chalkiness here. And one thing I noticed was you can barely make it out. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but there is some writing on this door. Now, I don't really know much about the history of this truck, but it looks like it may be old writing for a business or for some kind of maybe government agency. I'm not really sure. So I'm hoping I can bring that out a little bit more and we can get a better look at it. So got my cheap Harbor Freight power washer here. Seems to do pretty good. And let's see what we can do. So I've done the roof here, and it definitely makes a difference. It may be hard to tell a little bit because we're kind of in the shade here, but it didn't necessarily put much of a shine on the paint, but it definitely improved this sort of white chalkiness that's sitting on top of the paint. But we're going to polish this thing anyway and hopefully bring some more shine back into it. But this was just with one SOS pad, and I did the whole roof. So I'm figuring I'm probably going to use maybe one per panel. That kind of sounds reasonable to me. So we'll keep going. So I got another update for you guys here. I managed to get one side of the truck completely done with these SOS pads. So just kind of want you to take a look here. Now, obviously this is the side I didn't do. Very chalky. All kinds of handprints and all that stuff. So here's the half that we did do. Honestly, I'm pretty blown away. I mean, look at that difference. It's pretty incredible. Now, I've never done this before, but like I said, I've seen other people do it with a quite a high degree of success. So all I did was kind of just, take my time, go in circular motions with the pad, keep it wet, and I mean, look at this. All of that chalkiness is gone. There's even a little bit of shine. Honestly, I was a little nervous about putting a lot of deep scratches in the paint, and that really wasn't the case. I mean, there's a lot of little light surface scratches, which you would expect. I mean, it is still steel wool, although it's very fine. But I mean, kind of speechless. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff here. I mean, I have some experience with detailing and some very limited bodywork experience, but I mean, if I can do this, anyone can. I mean, the one thing I'll say as a word of advice is you got to keep those pads clean. What wound up happening to me a lot was, see these little rivets here? Obviously the truck used to have molding that ran up and down that belt line, but they're long gone now. But it would snag on that molding and fall into this. So anytime one of these things hit the ground, it was game over. I would just grab a new pad and start fresh. But yeah, I would say cleanliness is definitely going to be your best friend when working with this SOS stuff. But wow, you can almost leave it. Honestly, it wouldn't even need to be polished. I mean, just look at that difference. Pretty incredible. Nice thing is too, it's super cheap. So let me get the other half of this truck done, and we'll check back in. Well, we finished. And I gotta say, I really am extremely, extremely pleased with these SOS pads. really pretty amazing. So I wound up going through one box, which is 10 pads, I believe. That was enough to do this whole truck. What I mean, it looks like a whole nother truck. A little bit labor intensive. Took me, well, probably about 4 hours. But man, it was worth every single second. I mean, I can get this thing now and take it somewhere and feel pretty good about it. Pretty amazing turnaround from how it first looked when we got it. I mean, this truck deserves to be driven and enjoyed and back on the road. Now off to doing the interior. Alright, so we're back in the shop here, getting ready to start on the interior. I pulled the rubber floor mat that was in this truck out. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what we were working with as far as the floors were concerned, and yeah, not exactly what I was hoping for, but not horrible. I guess it's to be expected. I mean, this thing definitely leaks water when it rains. At least they're not totally disintegrated. But I do have what looks like a crack, which is kind of weird, down by that seat bracket. So I may or may not try to patch that, as well as the other parts of the floor that need attention. I mean, the body mount, it's kind of doing something. Obviously, you can see this truck used to be blue. It was repainted green, God knows how long ago. But transmission tunnel looks good. All up in here looks pretty solid. Now, I was wondering if you guys maybe knew what this was right here. It almost looks like a floor starter, which I thought by 1970 they would have just gone to starting off the key. Doesn't really seem like it does anything. Like, doesn't feel like there's a switch in there. I don't know if it's like a footrest. Kind of weird. So if you know what that is, let me know. I also pulled the bezel off for the gauge cluster here. It's actually broken. But it's a pretty clean break, so I have a feeling it is fixable, and we might try to do that just for the heck of it, I guess. And if it looks like crap, then we'll find another one. All right, so it's about a week later, and kind of had to put this off to the side for a little bit. I had some other things I had to take care of, but we gave the interior just a quick scrub. It wiped down the dash pad a little bit. It definitely looks better. We'll do a more in-depth cleaning of the inside here once we get some more mechanical stuff figured out. So you can see all those pinholes. But it came out pretty good, just for kind of a quick wipe down. Again, just wanted to get some of the nastiness out of this truck. It's a little nicer to work with now. Yeah, just kind of real quick went over some things. And then I'll show you guys under the hood here. I did a little bit of work. So we put some new plug wires in. I found all of these original little retainers for the plug wires, so I was happy about that. Let's see. Put new belts on. I changed this upper radiator hose. I don't remember if I told you guys that or not. New heater hoses. The old one had a shut-off, so I got a new shut-off and just put it in. I just finished running this truck because I also replaced the lower hose. Oh, sorry. So we got a new lower hose on there. New vacuum line from the booster. New vacuum line from the carb to the distributor. New vacuum line up to the choke. Runs a little smoother now. I think I've got a pretty big vacuum leak either at the base gasket for the carb, or maybe the shaft for the throttle blades or something has got quite a bit of wear in it. So I do have a new carburetor on the way, but definitely noticeably nicer in here now. Put a new cap on as well. And I just finished bleeding the cooling system. No leaks, so that's always nice. And this truck's been shut off maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and not really any blow-by coming out of that, so that also makes me happy. Oh, and I mean, I'm going to clean this wiring up eventually, but I did put the new sender in down there. It does show a very optimistic reading on the oil pressure gauge. It's almost all the way to the max. So there's no numbers, unfortunately. It's just lines. But it's doing something. I did try just reusing the old one, and it would kind of just go like this, down to the minimum, do this, sweep all the way to the top, do this, sweep all the way back down. So that thing was shot. But what are you going to do? It wasn't very expensive to put a new one in. But yeah, so we've got still quite a bit to do on this thing. So like I said, I've got a carburetor for it on order, just a replacement exact carburetor for this application here. We got to do brakes. Got all the brake parts I think I'm going to need. Try to fix some cosmetic stuff like that bezel that was broken in half. Maybe I'll try to glue that back together. I did get a lead on a front bumper and possibly a grill, so when I have time I'm going to go check them out. It's through a friend of mine, so they shouldn't be going anywhere. Apparently he's owned a few of these trucks and I didn't even know that. But yeah, I mean, we're getting there. Scrubbing down all that paint really was a nice way to inspire me to continue further. But I mean, it's in the shop, so. Oh, got a new fuel cap for it as well. The old one was MIA. And I'm going to show you guys something too. Just hang on one sec. So I was perusing good old eBay, hopefully trying to find some emblems, and I did. So these are the correct emblems for this truck. It is a custom trim level. It is the 200 3/4 ton truck. and while they're not in the best shape, they kind of match the rest of the badging and everything on the truck. So kind of give you guys an idea. So, oh, hold on. That one's got the nuts on it. So we'll kind of just stick that there. Pretty cool. As far as the trim for this truck that goes down, you know, all the side moldings and everything, I don't think I'm going to pursue finding those. Eventually I will be selling this truck, so the next owner can try to hunt that stuff down. I will try to find the correct side marker lights that are missing here. If not, I'll find something that's at least close. I got to get taillight lenses. One of the bezels around the taillight in the back is broken from when it was backed into, and the wind's kicking up. But yeah, it's coming together little by little, piece by piece. But anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this. It's been pretty fun for me. This is actually my first revival. So I've been watching guys do it on YouTube for, man, quite a long time, years really. And it's nice to finally have the opportunity to do one myself. And we have some other projects here. We got this guy here, 56 Plymouth Belvedere. We've got my 76 Olds Delta 88. And outside I've got an old Ford 800 tractor. So we've got some stuff to keep us busy here. But at any rate, thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.